Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 102. The Space
Have you
Jam
seen
edition.
Have you seen our fancy new setup, guys?
Yeah, look at this setup.
I'm waiting for the stream to catch up so I can see it myself.
All right.
Swords and like the vines and stuff.
Just so
Oh,
official.
this is cool.
I know, isn't it awesome?
This is really cool. That should be on a t-shirt.
Ash had made this
should
art.
be on a t-shirt.
Yeah, Ash made this art for episode 100, and I completely gelled and didn't put it up on the stream. So that's my bad. And then I didn't do it last week either because, I'm just bad. I'm bad at my job.
It's so good.
I know, it's great, right? So shout out to
really
Ash for
cool.
being amazing as usual.
Yeah.
Definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
Artistic talent. I like it.
So did you guys see Space Jam
I guess.
over the weekend? Huh?
I didn't.
not.
No.
I watched Black Widow finally.
Oh, nice.
Did
So I'm
How was that?
behind. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Did you watch it
I
at
thought
home or did you go to the theater?
I watched it at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I finally caught up with Loki.
All
I
right.
did
Loki was
I did
awesome.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
That's
there's
right.
issues.
That
too.
happened
Yeah.
since then. Yeah, there was an
There's
issue.
issues for sure. Like,
There was one issue, you could say.
overall,
I
I,
had to basically,
I can't complain about that entertainment. I've been enjoying
Overall,
it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, no spoilers. I had to get someone to explain it to me though, because I was like, I clearly had it gone over my head or something. Because I was like, I spoke to one of my friends. It's like everyone's been saying this series is really good. To me, it just feels like a high budget Doctor Who, and I don't like Doctor Who, right? And then I was like, I clearly must have missed something.
Why don't
right?
you like Doctor Who?
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
Not enough
I think
Jar
it's
Jar
just
Binks
too-
in there.
It's just too
pretty
weird and
cheesy.
quirky for me. It's just like
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's,
love
it's
that
not.
show.
It's yeah. So I was like at first I was like, oh, this just feels like a high budget Doctor Who, and I like Loki. But then my friend explained it to me. I was like, oh, I clearly have missed something very important here. So and now I appreciate it more. So I was like, okay, cool, thank you.
What'd you think of those
I've
Loki?
also done it in reverse because.
Oh, you went in reverse? You watched it in reverse?
Well, no, exactly. But I mean, I haven't seen WandaVision, nor have I seen Winter Soldier stuff yet. Not Winter
Oh.
Soldier, the
Okay.
and then my friend was like, "This is all building up to it." So I was like, I should probably go and watch that stuff." So I've been behind on a lot of shows, basically.
Okay, yeah.
All three of those shows have been pretty good.
They've been really enjoyable. Yeah. It's been a good ride.
I thought WandaVision, it started a little slow, but once it ramped up, like I was looking forward to each episode as it was coming out. Like the first couple of episodes, they really leaned into that classic TV thing, which was novel, but didn't really sustain my interest through a whole TV show, like a whole it's like, okay, you're doing like a Bewitched thing. Cool. What else you got?
Interesting.
But-
I actually love that.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite episodes in that series because it was so cool to see the nostalgia, but also being self-aware of what was happening in the show. I
Yeah.
thought it was cool.
But once the main storyline got going, I was really enthralled by it. And then Winter Soldier, I thought was good all the way through.
I
The
really
Falcon and
liked
Winter
Winter
Soldier?
Soldier.
Yeah, same.
I did too.
It felt like
Uh,
a very classic superhero Marvel experience, which was very different to the WandaVision experience. So having them
Yeah.
back to back was actually really nice.
Yeah.
And Falcon didn't get a lot of play during the movies either, right? Like you didn't get a lot of explanation on who this guy was, or you didn't know a lot about him, even though he was, he was one of the Avengers kind of. But
Right.
I don't know, it was nice to get a little more story about him.
Well,
And it was really good.
yeah, I think that's what's amazing about what they're doing with this format is they're taking these miniseries moments and being able to tell a story that just would not have been able to be told in a movie theater.
Right.
And you wouldn't want to cram all that into just like an hour and a half or 2 hour movie either. Like you want to be able to have the story unfold, and seeing that happen with WandaVision, the Falcon or Winter Soldier, and also Loki, all those just feel great in that format to be able to here's an hour, here's an hour, here's an hour, right?
Yeah. And then the What If series is coming up, right? So that should be really fun.
I actually don't know anything about the What If series.
That's going to be like alternate realities, right? It's going to be like alternate takes on stuff we've already seen, but well, what if this was different,
Oh,
And,
cool.
Huh?
Like, what if Star-Lord was just an asshole? Like you didn't have like the
What if Star-Lord
you
couldn't
didn't have the
dance?
Heart of gold. Yeah.
What if you had bad taste in music? You're like, what?
They used to do those in comic books, and I'd never read comic books when I was a kid. It just was not my thing. But I did when my friends had a What If comic book. I always would check it out because it was was fun to see like an alternate take on, a superhero story that everybody was familiar with.
For sure. Yeah. Cool.
So did you guys order the Steam Deck?
The old Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I know y'all ordered it because we were all together on Twitter fucking complaining about it.
For me, I didn't realize that I was super lucky.
You got
but I was
so
just
lucky,
sitting at the
Watts. Oh my
computer
God.
for like
Yeah.
9:50. I was like, all right, I'm ready. Got the thing up, ready to press refresh. Hit 10. I pressed for the middle version, cart, checkout, done. By 10:01, I was like, all right, bye. I'm good.
Yeah.
Good to go. Done. See you later.
Wow.
And then I went on Twitter and it's just people going, oh my God, I can't get it won't load. And I was like, oh,
Literally the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my
So-
entire life. It's happening right now.
So my experience was so close to yours, Watts, except at the end, I hit the button that said, do you confirm this purchase? This is exactly what you want to do. I clicked that button and then everything was moving fast, except, I got the 512 version. And then I hit the process my order or complete the checkout. And then it was like the sad spaceman or blob dude that shows up. And I was like, oh no, the servers are crapping. And then it was just stress for a whole hour.
It was
Yep.
it was pretty funny. I was like, oh yeah, that was super easy. Nice. Go ahead and do my morning. And then I go on Twitter and the world's ending.
Yeah. So Watts, is yours scheduled for December of 2021 then?
I don't know.
It must be, right?
actually. I ordered it and then I didn't look at it again.
Okay, so here's what you do.
Bring up
Go to
Okay.
Steam Deck
Bring-
website and it'll
bring-
show you what your reservation's
Okay.
at.
I will do that right
Which, by the
Oh,
way,
wait,
was
wait,
not
you guys-
working.
keep talking.
It, by the way, was not working for like the first hour or so because I looked at that after I ordered mine and it didn't tell me. It was like you have one reserved, but you're not telling you what date. And I was like, I don't even know when. Turns out mine's Q1 of 2022.
Mine's Q1 of 2022 as well. Damn.
Yeah, Q1 bros.
I was hoping to get it. I was hoping to get it. When it's supposed to be October this year?
No, December is when they say they're launching.
December. Oh.
Switch is October. The Swole LED
okay.
is October.
Oh well, the Superior console is out in October. Then that's fine. Then that's all I need, right? I mean,
10-year-old
So
OLED.
that's the crazy thing is like as soon as this thing got announced and then pre-orders went up basically the day after. So there's very little time for people to think about it. It was Thursday, then Friday. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I
Yep.
hadn't even decided until the morning. Like my friend was like, "You gonna pre-order one?" I was like, "Oh, when are they pre-ordering?" I didn't even look into it, and I was like, "I guess I'll get one."
Yeah. But they did a really cool thing is what Steam did is they said, look, you can pre-order one of these on Friday, July 16th, if you've bought something on your Steam account previous to, what was it, June of this year.
Oh, okay.
But if you haven't, if you're opening a new Steam account just to order one of these things, you're going to have to wait a little longer, like a few days longer. So it gave priority to people who had active Steam accounts that, they actually game on, which I thought was a novel idea and a pretty smart idea to kind of prioritize orders to the people who will actually buy them, hopefully, and not just use a bot to buy 20 of them.
Yeah, I
sell
thought it
them.
was great that they did that. I mean, it seemed so once they worked out the technical kinks for that first hour to 5 hours or so, it seemed like it was been going on. Lots of people have been saying, yeah, we easily got my order. It's like Q3 now, but I got my order. It's like I put out a video on it talking about my pain with the pre-order process, and the initial comments were like, oh my god, yeah, so many problems. And then a lot of comments now are like, I had no problem. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Like if you didn't try and get it in that first hour, I think it was actually really smooth sailing.
Mm-hmm.
And, hopefully, I don't know. We'll have to wait to see what happens, but hopefully what this resulted in was a bunch of people who are actually going to play on the console are getting the console first. And it's not just going to be bots with hundreds of them,
Yes.
on and putting them up on eBay. There's already a bunch on eBay, but eBay is taking them down apparently because they're trying to sell them for like $1,000 or $2,000. But they've got a reservation that says like Q2, Q3, and that's like eBay's got a policy if you're not going to be able to ship the item out in the next 30 days, then they take it down. I'm sure they're getting around it. I'm sure people are getting around it on eBay, but. It's just been so frustrating over the last, let's say, year of just like pre-ordering things, not being able to get, stores that aren't working, whether it's Best Buy, Walmart, Target, wherever you're trying to pre-order the PS5, the Xbox, the SWOLED, it's just been so frustrating over such a long amount of time. You know, and everybody's at home. You know, everybody's got more time on their hands. A lot of people have more, you know, spendable income right now because they're not going out. They're not spending money on, you know, a lot of the activities.
Get that Steam Deck.
You got to get that Steam Deck. So I thought it was a pretty good system, even though obviously it stumbled out of the blocks.
Except for Watts.
Like
no problem for Watts.
Except for Watts.
It was fine. Yeah, it was great. Easy breezy.
Watts obviously had Gabe Newell over to dinner.
Dude, I literally I had the seconds on my watch going so I could see when to refresh, and then like I was laser focused. I had the Steam wallet loaded. I was ready to go to get that pre-order as fast as possible, the reservation. Yeah. And it was just like within a nanosecond off to getting kicked out of the server.
Yeah, I got that message that says it looks like you've been trying to buy a ton of stuff recently. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to come back. I started playing a little Destiny, actually. And then I turned off Destiny and went back to the store. And then my order went through. It's like it was literally an hour and a half after. So it was like 11:30 my time, whereas it went live 10 o'clock my time. Or 11. Yeah, I went live at 11 o'clock. And it was an hour and a half, basically.
Yeah, I got the weird one. Mine was just basically like, your order might have completed. But we'll let you know later. I was like, what do you mean you might have taken my money? Yeah. I might have got this. Like,
at least it was only $5. It wasn't like the full price.
True. Yeah. And then like an hour after I got the email, it was like, yeah, you know, it's processed. I was like, all right, fair enough. System was because I was sitting on that page with like the working button. I was like, I'm gonna, because you know there's always that balance when this stuff happens. You're like, do I wait or do I press F5? And I'm just like,
I know.
And then somebody like replied to my tweet at the same time. They're like, no, don't press F5 because this happened to me and it went through. I was like, okay, I'm going to walk away. And then I was like, you know, it was, yeah.
What do you guys actually think of the hardware?
Well, hold on, Watts, what's your ship date?
I don't know how to see. I'm on the website and it says cancel reservation. That's all I could see.
Oh, and it doesn't tell you?
Expected order availability?
So here's the thing. Under mine, it says, under cancel reservation, it says your expected order availability is Q1 2022.
No, it doesn't have anything. It just has when it was reserved.
Are you in Steam
so
or
early? They have no idea. I was on the website, the Steam
Deck.
Yeah, that's where I see mine. Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
A mystery.
Yeah. So that's what happened to me initially too when I got it, and I was like, I don't even know when I got this thing. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys think of the hardware? What are your overall impressions of the hardware?
Yeah. So. Go for it. Eric, go.
I was just say when it was first revealed, I was just like, who designed this thing? Has this person ever held a handheld console before? Because like you've got all this real estate, and they're just like, we're going to shove all the buttons up here. I'm just like, how am I going to do if anyone had played Monster Hunter back on the PSP days, you'll know the claw. If you wanted to use like the D-pad and the analog stick, you used to have to play like this. I was like, are they trying to make me break my fingers again? Mm-hmm. What is the purpose? So I was clowning on it on day one. I mean, obviously I was still going to buy it. I like tech. I'm going to buy it regardless. I'm still going to clown on it. Like, it looks huge. I mean, it's supposed to be, you're not going to put that in your pocket, right?
But now there's paddles. That's what we found out. There's paddles.
Yeah, the paddles fixed that a lot for me on the back. Mm-hmm. You know, because like the buttons, being able to hit the buttons on the back just like fix a lot of that. It doesn't, not 100%, because I do feel like the analog sticks being up there is strange. You know?
The buttons, the D-pad and the button placement is a little more concerning to me than the analog sticks. Mm-hmm. Just how close they are to the edge. Because sometimes, if you're watching the video right now, I'm holding up a Switch, and like if you're trying to hit a button that's very close to your finger, that can be a little uncomfortable as opposed to like a more natural placement where your thumb is a little further away from your pointer finger. But to me, it looks exactly like a Switch with the Hori split pad on it. Like it's got a nice comfort grip. Like there's actually something to hold on to. You're not trying to hold on to something that's wafer thin. Those back buttons, those paddles really make a big difference because you'll be able to program those as well because it is a PC, right? You're going to be able to configure the buttons to be whatever you want because most PC games allow that. It looks really good. And also, Valve has said that they have really put a lot of work into making sure there's no analog stick drift, which has been a real problem. Not just with the Switch, but with the PS5 controllers as well lately.
Oh, wow.
So that's encouraging.
Do we know what the squares below are for? Like below the analog sticks, there are these two squares. Are they like touch pads or something?
Yeah, they're touch pads.
Yeah, they're track pads.
That you'll be able to, like on a laptop you move your finger around.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Okay.
Well, that's
They
like
said they were trying to mimic a mouse, right? Like if you
Right.
preferred playing with a mouse,
Mm.
like they're trying to mimic that type of gameplay
Yeah.
for you.
Or if you're playing like a what are those a strategy game where you have to like select like groups of units or have precise input.
Mm.
It
yeah.
just makes a lot of sense.
I'm really curious to see how that feels. Like my first
I
impression.
don't think I'll ever use them.
Yeah, my first
I don't-
impression is that it's going to be something that I never touch or I avoid heavily because it's so bad of an experience. They did say that they have been working on it to make it more intuitive, and some people who used it said it took a little bit to get used to. Once they did, it was like felt like they were using a mouse. I'm like, well,
That's good.
We'll see.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Also,
Yeah.
given the placement, are you not going to like if you're holding the analog sticks, you're not going to accidentally like thumb the pads like in the middle of something you're trying to move, and then suddenly you like whoa mouse swipe. or
Theoretically, they'll be disabled if you're not using them.
Yeah,
right?
true.
I would
Okay,
hope.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
hopefully, right? Yeah, that's a concern. Yeah.
I really like that the speakers are front facing, like they're faced right at you,
Mhm.
and also that there's a dock available. It's not going to be built in with the unit, or it's not going to be
Yeah, you
packed
have to
in with
pay
the unit,
additional for it.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to be expensive because they have Gabe Newells has publicly said like this thing we're taking a hit on.
Okay.
Like the price of this thing is,
Yeah,
we wanted to make it
affordable.
this is
but, yeah.
uncomfortable.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think it just
Yeah.
got memed on a lot because people were like, well, what, I'm not going to be sitting there playing my Call of Duty on this thing, am I? And I'm
No.
like, well, for me, I have such a clear picture of how I want to use it with all those indie games that never go to anywhere
Yes.
else. There's like, so especially the super cozy ones,
Mhm.
the management cozy indie games. I want to play them on my
Hell
couch or
yeah.
in my bed.
Yeah.
That is 100% it because there's so many games that there's games right now that are out on Steam that have got a Switch release dates, and I'm specifically not playing them because I just want to play them handheld. Like I waited
Yeah.
over a year to play Dead Cells, Moonlighter, games like that. So now I can just be like, all right, cool, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
I don't think this is going to appeal to everybody, and I don't think it's the competition to Switch. It's not the Switch Pro
No.
that a lot of people, because ultimately most people buy a Switch because they want to play Nintendo games, right?
Mhm.
Like, isn't that like? And there are going to be emulators for this, undoubtedly, but like most people aren't going to load them onto this. It's just going to be, Plus,
think
you
most
got to go
people are gonna
find
stick
the
with
Nintendo
SteamOS?
ROMs. Yeah, I think that's actually kind of the most, aside from the fact that it's really, I think, cool looking hardware, the SteamOS, like revival of SteamOS and Valve's kind of like end run around Windows is one of the most interesting things about this, right? It's actual competition for Windows, not having to put Windows on a PC
right.
has been one of the goals of SteamOS for a really long time. And if this thing gains popularity and more games become compatible with SteamOS, like, imagine a world where you didn't have to have Windows running on your gaming PC. That's a really compelling future, like for a lot of us,
Definitely. Yeah.
They've also said they're going to allow other people to make devices that use SteamOS or this operating system and this form factor, which is really cool. And they're going to allow other storefronts on this thing.
Oh, really?
So like you could see, you could see a future where there are, other ways to obtain software besides SteamOS. I mean, you can just wipe SteamOS off of it and put Windows on it if you want. It's an open device, which is really cool. It's so often you buy stuff now that's just locked down.
Yeah.
Right?
So closed. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you can't do much with it, especially once it's aged out of like its update schedule.
Yep. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. Initially, when it got first announced, I thought it looked too clunky for me to be truly interested in it. And then the more promotional material I saw and saw people using it and realized the indie titles, like you were saying, Watts, like that pretty much sealed it for me to where I was like, this is a must buy. Like I have a massive Steam library and I would love to play some of these indie titles on a device that looks like this. And then the paddles too. The paddles were a huge feature. Because, like, again, those buttons on the side, those could get annoying to me. But because it has paddles built in, it's just a no-brainer. It's built in to go. Awesome, So, I can't wait. I'll probably only stick with SteamOS as well. I probably won't mess with loading up other.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Yeah.
I
I'll
don't want
definitely
to
load emulators on it because that. I
yeah.
mean, having like classic Super Nintendo or Genesis games, it's just such
you
a
have to
wonderful kind of way to play.
Wouldn't you have to swap off SteamOS though for that?
It depends. If SteamOS allows you to get a hold of something like RetroArch and just load it as an app on there, I mean, there's already an SD card slot, so you can put all your games on the SD card. So RetroArch is in Steam, I believe, right now.
Okay, interesting. SteamOS is like Unix based, right? Like Linux, Unix, or something like that.
I believe, but I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, so I would imagine maybe some sort of emulators that are already working on that platform would work for it potentially.
Yeah,
so.
I don't really know.
Yeah,
I'm positive that emulators are going to come out for this thing because they come out for everything.
Right.
Apparently on the anything that
on the Series X, right?
You can play Doom or Nintendo games on.
Yeah, apparently the Series X, like you can load up developer mode on the Series X and then put a bunch of emulators on your Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thought the price was really compelling too. $399 for like kind of the base model with 64 gigabytes of built-in storage. $529 you get 256 of NVMe faster storage, and $649 you get half a gig of NVMe. But those were pretty good prices. Like nothing struck me as like, oh, why are they charging so much more for the one with like some storage to it? Like if you look at prices of storage, it seemed pretty in line with what you're getting here.
Yeah, I also think that I agree. The price isn't like crazy for what they're asking. Like it seems
so much power too.
Yeah, it seems that they put a lot of design and effort and consider the balance between power versus portability and what they can offer in there. Because like I think I would have initially thought that this was going to be like $800-900 off the bat, honestly.
Other devices that are similar to this have been around $1,000. Like the GP Win, I think, was something that was similar to this. It was a handheld gaming PC, but it cost $1,000.
Yeah, I kind of assumed it was going to be a luxury item like that, and I was surprised that their top notch one, is $650.
Yeah, they've also said that there is an NVMe, like a port on each one, and they even specified what kind of hard drive that you would buy to put in there. But what they haven't said is like, is this thing like buried under the screen? How easy is it to actually get in there?
Yeah.
But theoretically, you will be able to add NVMe storage to this. That's unconfirmed, but
interesting.
They also, did you guys see the IGN article where they had a hands-on?
I did, yeah.
They had good things to say about like how fast it was loading, and it was later revealed that all the stuff they were playing was playing off of an SSD, not an SSD, a memory card.
Okay. An SD card.
Yeah, so an SD card, yes. So like you could throw in a 256 gigabyte SD card, which I think you can get around for $40 or so.
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
No, they're always coming down in price. I think 512 gig ones are still pretty expensive, but I think 256 ones are pretty cheap now.
Yeah.
So like that's going to be an option, like a very viable option. So like at $399 plus, let's say conservatively, you get a 256 gigabyte fast SD card for about $50, and stick that in there, and you're at $450 with 256 gigabytes of space. That's a lot of games, or a lot of smaller games anyway, and definitely could fit any modern game on it. That's compelling. That's the price.
Yeah, definitely.
That's $100 more than a Switch, but it's like way more powerful.
Yeah. That's the thing right there, right? Like that Switch OLED with old hardware.
The SWOLED.
The SWOLED. And again, it's the software. If you're buying a Switch, you're definitely buying it for Nintendo software. I get that.
Yeah.
And I agree, 100%.
100%.
But anything else outside of that, any third-party titles, like before, it's like you said, Eric, you'd want to play it handheld with the Switch for stuff that's coming out on Steam, but they got like a Switch version coming out later down the road. This is the answer to that.
True. I mean, I'm still as the unashamed Nintendo fanboy, still gonna wait for Nintendo. Not always wait, but I'm still gonna be like, I'm gonna get my Nintendo versions. But you're right, no, it's definitely the solution. I mean, also, technically speaking, I'm not sure how it'll actually play, but you can play Lost Ark on the Steam Deck
could,
when it comes
yeah.
out.
Nice.
This is the ultimate comfy like MMO experience.
That's
Okay.
true. All the comfy MMO stuff I would love to do on a handheld. Like all the things that I don't need to be sitting at a gaming PC at my desk to do at all.
Right.
You know, if I'm farming or I'm gathering something, I don't need to sit there.
Yeah,
So that's,
Yeah.
that's exciting.
it's cool.
Yeah.
The
I'm
more
looking forward to it.
the more I talk about it and
A lot
look
of
at
the-
it, the more I'm excited about it.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
A lot of the games I play, like Bloodstained, which is like kind of a basic 2D. It's 3D graphics, but it's really a 2D game. Like that port to the Switch was just kind of subpar, right? It just didn't run good on Switch, even though that's how I wanted to play it. So like having another handheld option, even if I'd still buy Switch games, having another handheld option is good because now as a consumer, I have the choice, like which version do I want to buy it on, which one runs better. I'm not locked into the Switch version because my lifestyle just permits me to play games on the go more.
Mm-hmm.
I like that as a consumer. I think that's awesome. More choices, better.
Well, better.
Yeah, I really hope this thing succeeds. I hope it does a good job.
Same.
And then I hope more people make hardware like along this lines. I'd like some more options as far as form factor, button placement, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I did see people talking about Steam's history and support of previous devices and being a concern for whether or not you'd want to invest in the Steam Deck. How do you guys feel about that?
This is a PC, so as long as it can play the games in my Steam library, I'm not super concerned about what they do in the future. They did have the Steam boxes that they just kind of dropped support for, but that was a bad idea out the gate. Like that was just a silly idea, like right out the gate. They're just making low cost PCs that could fit under your TV.
Uh-huh.
But it's like you can already do that. Like it didn't solve a problem that existed in the market. This does, and I have their Valve Index system, which was expensive, but has held up very well, and like they continue to support it even though it's not that popular. So I've got no complaints there.
Yeah, I think for the future proofing of it for me, I don't think it's going to be an issue because of the kind of games I want to play on it. I'm not looking for like super crazy high graphic fidelity games to play on there really. I mean, I might do that for some things maybe, but it's not going to be the main place where I'm playing like Destiny or any of those kind of games. So for the games that I want to play, I think I'm going to be able to play those indie titles for a long time on the Steam Deck. I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah, it is. We are kind of at a point now where it's like that level of power is accomplished, and things in the future are just getting better and better with like DLSS and whiz bang hardware things that are happening in new GPUs. So, and isn't the screen resolution 720?
I think so, yeah.
No, it's like 768 or something like that because it's 16 by 10 screen, not 16 by 9 screen. So it's the equivalent of 720p, but it's
With
not
margins.
720p because it's taller than 720p.
Yeah. So that I think that also plays into its ability to play games, is it's natively going to be lower resolution, which is fine for the handheld experience right there.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, because I mean that's the Switch. The Switch is 720p.
Yeah.
Right. This has a bigger screen than the Switch we have now, approximately the same size screen as the OLED. But that 16 by 10 will make it a little bit better for games that don't take advantage of widescreen. So those games will be a little bit bigger on the screen because of 16 by 10 instead of 16 by 9.
Interesting.
Cool.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Q1.
Yeah, this
What
is
do
the
I
most
assume?
exciting hardware.
I'm in like so early that they can't even show me.
They can't even.
They're like, it's out for delivery already.
Yeah.
How did she
Track your
order it
package.
at 9:59? She ordered it 2 minutes before it went live. Hackers.
Did Tomo get one?
He did. He ended up getting it like an hour after.
Says
He was having the same problem. You've tried to purchase too many things. Your account is too new. It was just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It was a little bit frustrating, but it was crazy to see Twitter just come alive with the vitriol. Like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Everybody who works at Valve is a complete piece of scum, and they deserve to be tarred and feathered for this hour of inconvenience they have caused me.
It was
It's
funny when
how it snowballed. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say it's funny how everyone was like, "Oh, the bots, man! I hate bots," and I'm like, "This is actually the best way to prevent bots.
Yeah.
You can't set up bots for this because I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you maybe could, but you're limited per your one account. You have to have purchased something, within a certain time frame to be able to do it, and it's." It's actually one of the better ways to prevent it. Their
actual
service
demand.
just couldn't handle the load.
Yeah, it was actual demand, like actual people like wanting that. That's why it took a dump.
Yep.
It was so easy to fit this into, like, it was so easy to theoretically see how people would use this, right? It's like as soon as you saw it, you're like, oh, I can play everything in my Steam library, but mobile, like on the go. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yes,
games that I'm
please.
like, oh man, I sure wish this was going to be on Switch, and of course it's not because so many of these games can't afford to be on anything but Steam.
Yeah, or it's on Switch, but it runs like shit.
Yeah.
I wonder how Monster Hunter Stories runs on the Steam Deck.
Interesting.
Because on the Switch, it's a little framey and little problems.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
That's true.
It will be
Monster
interesting.
Hunter World is now a portable game.
True.
Yeah. Wow.
It is.
Look at that.
Interesting.
How's that for handheld?
And I see people in chat saying that Steam Deck can't run Destiny 2. I believe it is due to Destiny's anti-cheat and what they are like the iOS that they're having you run on the Steam Deck.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder
Destiny
if they'll change that.
Doesn't allow you to play on certain things because of cheats.
Yeah. Do you think they could possibly open that up in the future? Like maybe they'll understand that Steam Deck exists and make an exception or whatever, where it recognizes Steam Deck, so it's fine with it.
I'd hope so. Because there's also it's like Apex Legends you can't play on there. Fall Guys, Smite, Rainbow Six, Paladins. Like there's a bunch of games that you can't play because of the iOS that it's running.
Oh, that would mean you can't play Lost Ark. No.
In some cases, it may not be super a high priority to get this thing running with your multiplayer game that relies on ping.
Yeah, maybe we don't. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll do it.
Maybe not.
Yeah. You could always do the Steam Link though, or Steam Link.
You could do.
You could stream whatever off of your PC into this, for a mobile experience, or play xCloud on it.
I've used Steam Link for Destiny in the past, and it's worked fine. Destiny doesn't like to start when I do it that way, but I can usually trick it into doing it. Yeah.
Huh, strange. I had no problem starting it.
I was doing it probably a year before you started doing it, so maybe they smoothed that situation out.
Got it. Yeah, most likely. Yep.
You guys know the Viking game that you saw, the indie Viking game, and you're like, this looks badass. It's called Song of Iron.
Yes.
That finally got a release date.
That's
good news.
Since our last show. It's going to be August 31st. And I didn't realize that this is made by one person.
Huh.
It's a guy.
Wow.
It's
just
a dude.
It's a guy.
It's really exciting.
Amazing.
That's impressive. This game looks awesome.
Yeah.
It is visually a very stunning looking game.
Yeah.
The way they use lighting and the backdrop of seeing enemies run from the back to the front.
Yeah, not they. I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's true. The way he did. I'm pretty sure it's because it's the first game that the studio is resting Relic. I'm pretty sure I saw that it was one person.
Yeah. Man, that's impressive, right? I wonder how long he's been working on it. I remember what's that game called? The farming one? That was done by one guy. Stardew Valley, yeah. That was done by one guy as well, but it took its toll.
And that blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully this one does as well. It looks great, like right now.
I will play it on my
This
Steam
is
Deck when
exactly the kind of game I'd play on my
Totally,
Steam Deck.
right?
Exactly
Yep.
the kind of game. But this is coming to Xbox, so maybe it'll be on Game Pass. I wonder
It
if
is.
Game Pass will come to Steam Deck.
Good question.
Maybe. I mean, if you put Windows on it, then I guess you'd just be able to have it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah, that would be the
I would
answer,
assume so.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd like to not have to do that hacky stuff. I'd like to just be able to have SteamOS running with like Steam and then like, oh, here's Game Pass, and just like kind of push that button and now I have access to my Steam, my Game Pass library, and install games from there. It'll be interesting. The rumors kind of always persisted about Game Pass coming to Switch, but this would solve that. That would scratch
True.
that itch. For sure.
Apparently, he's been making the game for 2 years.
Wow, impressive.
That's actually pretty short.
That's super
for
short, yeah.
Game development in general. Wow.
Yeah.
I want to check it out just to see what the game is like and be like, this is made by one guy. I can buy this game that's
Yeah.
made by a single man
Right?
over 2 years.
Right?
Yeah.
Talk about being productive during the pandemic. This guy made a game.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
That is
I gained 15 pounds. This guy made a game.
Cool. What did you say the release date was again? I missed it.
August 31st.
Nice.
Yeah, so pretty soon.
Cool. There was a game that came out last week. I haven't played it yet, and it's a remake. And I'm curious, have you guys?
Skyward Sword.
Yes.
Skyward Sword.
I actually haven't just yet. I've bought it
Oh.
because Zelda is #1 franchise, but because I'm still stuck in stories at the moment. We're not stuck because I'm still doing story stuff.
Because
I
it's
have it
a
on my
billion
desk.
hours long.
It's 1,000,000 hours long. Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I've seen, like, the nice thing is, I mean, I love Skyward Sword when it first came out. Anyway, a lot of people seemingly, well, I was oblivious to it. I just enjoyed it all the time, and then suddenly, whenever I speak about Skyward Sword, everyone's like, "This is a terrible game. It besmirched the Zelda's name." I'm like, "Shut up, it's fine."
That's
But
crazy.
anyway,
That didn't.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
exactly.
It
Some
had
people
some glaring
yeah,
flaws, but to say it's a bad game is
that's the thing, right?
silliness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is that a lot of people that did have some difficulties with the motion controls, so I get it, it's not for everyone. They said they're actually getting on really nicely with the ability to just play it with a regular control pad. And the fact that you can play it now handheld, like that I'm just super looking forward to. Just being able to sit down, like get stuck into another Zelda game on handheld. So yeah.
Yeah, it's right off the bat is like it doesn't have nearly the amount of frustrating tutorials that were so plagued it in its original release on the Wii. Zelda at the time, actually, I think Nintendo at the time was going through this phase where they over tutorialized everything, and Zelda got hit in a couple of releases. I think Twilight Princess was like this a little bit too, if I remember correctly. That every 10 steps you take, there's a tutorial popping up, especially in the early game, and it just was so fucking frustrating and so boring because you're constantly reading text that you couldn't fast forward or skip. You had to just like watch it go at Nintendo's recommended speed. It was so annoying. I mean, to me, it didn't ruin those games, but it made them somewhat frustrating, especially at the outset.
Definitely. Yeah, especially on like things like Skyward Sword, where like you would get one every single time you pick up an item. So it'd be like, smash a pot. Oh, you got a rupee. This is what a rupee is. Smash the next pot. I was like, the pots are always gathered in like groups of 10. I'm just like, I don't need 10 tutorials. You just told me what a rupee is. I don't need a tutorial for a mushroom. Like, it's no. Like, yeah.
It's amazing that that's the same company that made Breath of the Wild. That's the same franchise where Breath of the Wild is so open and full of exploration and figuring out your own path and. Like to consider that Skyward Sword is the same franchise and like how different the philosophy there is.
I feel like it was the time as well, because if you think about it, that was the time when the Wii came out, and obviously the Wii had enormous success for Nintendo because suddenly it was like although Nintendo have always been a quite family friendly company, the Wii was like the family console. It's like, oh, you know, your grandma, your grandpa, your mum, your dad, everyone's playing it because it's like I can get behind motion controls. So I think suddenly they finally tapped into that, like, oh, this is for everybody. So they were like, right, because that's also when I think at that point or somewhere around there, they started to introduce the thing where it's like, you've been playing for an hour, you should probably take a break. Like everything was so sort of, let's make sure we're caring. Yeah, exactly. But everything was so sort of like, oh, we're in the mindset now that we're creating for families now, not like hard. So we're like, oh, we'll tutorialize everything. We'll tell you to take a break. We'll tell you need to go and do the laundry, feed the cat, take a leak. Like, you know, it's like, oh, and then they leveled out a little bit.
Yeah. It makes sense considering that they were literally selling Wii's to like old folks' homes so they could play Wii bowling.
Yeah.
But I don't think those people ever transitioned out of Wii Sports, right? As they sold a billion consoles because of Wii Sports, but those people were never going to buy Zelda. And I think Nintendo was trying to get those people like a smooth transition from Wii Sports to their core franchise. And I think ultimately that proved to not be the way to go.
Well, that's because they broke their TV playing Wii Sports, so they threw the Wiimote into the TV.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm not playing the Zelda game, man. Nintendo broke my first TV. I'm not doing it.
I never had a lick of sympathy for anybody who threw a Wiimote at a TV and broke the TV.
Literally tells you, it's like, put it on your wrist.
I just don't let go.
The thing is, that's the thing. Like, I never use the wrist strap, and I'm just like, even on a hot day when your hands get sweaty, like, you've got to be. I don't know how that thing comes out your hand. I just don't. Like,
they're just gaming harder than you, Eric. They're just gaming
that's what it is.
harder.
Well,
Gaming harder,
there's one of two things, right? They're either gaming harder and they're these hardcore gamers, or they're the kind of people that give limp handshakes, in which case you deserve to break your TV. I mean, if I'm just saying, there you have it. Right?
Soft, almost sensual handshake.
No. I would like if I don't feel like my hand is about to be crushed when I shake someone's hand. No, that's the only way.
So funny.
Yeah, VR, like I get why people break stuff, right? Because you got a mask on, you can't see shit. But the Wii thing, like, come on, just hold the damn thing. Don't throw it across the room.
Hold it.
It's like that. You see that VR video? The guy like is looking at like a pool and decides to jump into it and jumps straight into his TV.
I have done similar things to that. I've tried to lean on a table and just like nearly fallen over. You know, like you just. It tricks your mind so much that kind of stuff doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh man.
Yeah, true.
Anything else happened last week? Stuff going on?
There was the Tom Clancy game revealed today. Defiant, I believe it's called.
Is that the
Tom Clancy's generic shooter?
The Call of Duty clone?
Tom Clancy does Call of Duty. Well, I guess.
God, I saw that and I was like, what on earth was.
No.
It's like this
They've
is
got like
Ubisoft Call of Duty game.
Kind of, yeah. It's there's like different classes. So you can be a healer, or like a tanky guy, or a DPS guy, and it's pretty much just like an arena shooter. I mean, so a part of me is like, I hope that this is fun because we haven't had like an actual traditional arena shooter in a very long time. Besides Apex bringing out their arena mode, which is a little
Call of Duty still does arena shooter, right?
They do, but it's Call of Duty. So
and their focus is definitely on Warzone right now because that's obviously their money maker, right? So yeah.
But I don't know. It's really hard to judge a game like this early on because you don't know what it feels like, and ultimately, if the game feels good, then I'll play it, and if it doesn't, I won't. So it's
true.
It's just such a weird thing as well because it's like it's you know I never like to sort of say bad things about what people have worked on because obviously there'll be a team of people that will obviously work really hard behind it, and obviously there's a lot of passion that would have gone into it. But it just seems so strange that like in this day and age where like we've got so many different things we can do, like Ubisoft are a talented company, talented studio. They've got thousands of people. They've got tons of studios they can spin things off to. They have the manpower and the capacity to do something different, and yet they're just like, we're going to spin up what looks like on paper. Again, we haven't played it, so I can't say it actually is. But what looks like on paper, a pretty generic-looking class-based arena shooter. We've had so many of them before. I can see what they're trying to do. They're like, okay, we want to get into the free-to-play market because obviously they've got Siege and stuff. But they're like, so they want to. They want
such
their
a hit too.
That's the thing, but they want their piece of the pie. They were like, we want our version of Apex. So I can understand from a business point of view why they want to do it, but it just looks so uninspired. I'm just like, I mean, I'm not really a shooter, so it's not for me anyway. But I'm just like, there's so many other things you could have done. How about you just bring back flipping what's his name, Sam Fisher? Every single time they tease a new game,
everyone wants a new one so bad.
Everyone does want a new Splinter Cell. So every time that they're like, it's not a Splinter Cell, everyone's just mad right off the bat. You're already fighting an uphill battle.
Sam Fisher is in the same dungeon as Banjo and Kazooie. They've been locked up. Microsoft or Rare apparently want to pretend that Banjo doesn't exist, and they're like, we're never going to do anything. You can ask all you want, you're not getting him. And the same thing for Sam Fisher. Both those guys, they're locked up. They occasionally.
I think Banjo was canceled. Actually, it turned out he was ultra racist, and we just had to kick him off the internet. Sorry, man. Hate to ruin the childhood dreams.
Not everyone who plays a banjo is a racist.
Don't meet your heroes. You know what I'm saying?
But they basically wheel them out occasionally just to kind of get you a glimmer of hope. They're like, oh, E3's coming up. It could be Sam Fisher. Haha, I'm joking. Like, we got you. Now you're watching Just Dance, but we got you in here, right?
We need a Just Dance first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You know what they're gonna do? You know the ultimate insult is gonna be, right? They put Sam Fisher in everything, right? They put him in like Rainbow Six. They put him in other games. They put spin-offs and stuff. He even showed up in Fortnite. They're gonna do the Sam Fisher dance in Just Dance, and then you'll know he's definitely dead. When you're
Sam Fisher dance.
No, but there's probably going to be. They'll be like, we're going to invent like the spy song, the spy dance.
2021 edition.
They should have made this arena shooter a rhythm game where you have to fight against other people in a rhythmatic way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would have been unique.
Whilst in a VR headset, which is called the Animus.
I wonder if they will ever make a Siege 2, because Siege has been so popular. It seems like if you're going to use the Tom Clancy game or name to make another kind of arena shooter, why don't you just make Siege 2?
They're probably scared. They're like, we finally got it in a good place, guys. It's successful. It's doing good.
Yeah. Making a ton of money on microtransactions.
Yeah. Don't budget up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my feeling on Siege is like, why would they screw that up at this point, right? Like it's
just believe it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just put in more skins. More skins.
What would they build on? You know?
Ubisoft screwing stuff up. They are making Assassin's Creed like a live game,
right?
A live service game, which scares the hell out of me.
What even is that?
That just sounds straight out of
it totally means they want to sell you more microtransactions.
It sounds like it's straight out of a corporate like boardroom meeting.
What if we gave Assassin's Creed a battle pass?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. Make it free to play. Battle pass.
Yeah.
A live service Assassin's Creed. I'm like, okay.
Maybe what they're going to try and do is go down the angle of like, you know, when Hitman was like episodic, and they'll be like, oh, your month's contract this week is like going to like if they did it in a really inspired way, it could be kind of cool, because if you think about the Assassin's Creed franchise, it's like, oh, you go to the Animus and you can tap into like all these people in your historical timeline and like jump into these time periods. It could be kind of cool if it was like, oh, this month is the season where we're going to kind of go back to Egypt, or we're going to go to the Vikings, we're going to go to like all these different periods. Like it could work in an episodic nature if they did it like that. But it's like the question of, are they going to do it in the cool, inspired way, or are they going to do it in the, we're going to shoehorn this in and please buy this skin, and this month you can buy a hat.
Money grubbing bean counter way.
Yeah.
If you want to unlock this thing in the battle pass, you got to go collect 1,000 bundles of sticks, and then you put that in, or you pay money to unlock it right away.
Yeah, or you can pay £100 for 10 sticks.
Valhalla didn't really speak to me, but I got so much play out of both Origins and Odyssey that I'm really looking forward to like what's next for the Assassin's Creed kind of like gameplay loop. But if it really just feels like a cash grab, then it's going to be really disappointing, because Origins and Odyssey were just fantastic games.
Yeah, they kind of already danced on the live service thread as well. Like they were doing things and doing lots of updates, and had like I feel like
XP
I remember
boost.
Yeah, XP boost. I remember logging in, seeing like some sort of things were changing each week with new things coming in. So they've been dancing around this whole live service stuff already for a while. It's just once they start marketing it as live service, you know that it's like, okay, this is marketing spiel. This is like the boardroom stuff. coming through. It'd be like, we need these keywords with our latest title, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Proceed with caution.
We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
Is it time?
We shall.
Are we
It's
heading
time.
into freaking confusing land?
I think
where
that's the end of the show, right? We're done.
Whoa, hold on a minute.
You gotta wrap
Eric's
this
just
one
like,
up.
please, I need.
So we'll segue in a way that applies to you. You can play this on your Steam Deck.
You can play it on your Steam Deck.
On my Steam
You
Deck.
can play anime games on your Steam Deck. There
That's
you go.
true. You could also watch the anime on Funimation if you want to. I haven't seen it yet, but it's there.
Oh, I watched
Nice.
episode 1, but I haven't seen any more. Is the whole anime there now?
No, I think it's maybe episode 3 is out.
Okay.
wanna
All right.
say. Or yeah, I think 3 is out. The director of it is actually doing like a side-by-side comparison of what happened in the game with what happened in the episode of the anime.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
That's been pretty cool.
I like seeing how involved he is on Twitter.
He is a Twitter maniac.
I mean, I'm wondering if it's him or if it's just a bot, because he did have like
Yeah.
a copy paste that every single time someone tweeted about Scarlet Nexus before the game, he's like, "Hello, I'm the guy from the game. Here's my video on combat. Please enjoy it."
He did, yeah. It's really cool to see like the director being in Twitter responses. I also saw that Gigs, who of course we all know from Destiny, he was like, "Oh guys, I'm looking for a new PC game to play with like really cool story." And he's like, "Hello, have you thought about playing Scarlet Nexus? It's a game with great story."
That's so good. That's so good.
This is amazing.
It does have great story though.
It
Confusing
is.
story.
Yeah, it's so when I finished it, I totally understood why people were like, you got to play this game. Because I think
Yeah.
it was the final, like, I want to say 3 hours where the battles were really fun. Combat like kicked up a notch. You had these bosses that were crazy, and there was just this story unfolding the whole way as you're going through these crazy battles. So after that, I was like, yeah, I get it. This makes sense.
Yeah, it was definitely like, it was super cool. Yeah, I'm definitely sort of glad I experienced the story. It was one of those ones where it was so messed up, right? It's like, and for anyone that hasn't, before we even get into the spoilers, like the actual spoiler territory, like if I give you like a super basic summary, it's basically like, oh, your friend is actually against you. This person's going to try and kill you. Oh wait, this person's actually not trying to kill you. Now they're going to be your friend, but now they're not your friend again. Now they're going to try and kill you again. Oh wait, we're going to the moon, and now this person that suddenly is your friend and your sister is also going to try and kill you. But now we're not trying to kill you. We've made up because we actually have the same goal. But now this guy that was oddly also your friend, yeah, he's trying to kill you as well. Everyone's trying to kill you basically.
And now
You
we
can't
went
trust
into the
anyone.
past, and now it's different, and you don't know who I am, but I know who you are, and you were trying to kill me, but now you're not because the past is different. So here we are.
Exactly.
There you go. Figure it out.
But now we've all made friends because now we've got to join together to make sure that we can go and undo the past so that the world doesn't kill itself.
Yes.
And then you're also still going to try and get killed by this guy.
Tale
anyway.
as old as time.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually it's a classic time travel anime in that there's a guy or girl trying to save someone who something bad happened to them in the past, and they keep going back repeatedly to try and stop the bad thing from happening, and all hell breaks loose because they keep going into the past trying to stop the bad thing from happening. That's that's kind of.
But the part that remember I said during the non-spoiler part, I was like, there's a part of the game that I never want to do ever again.
Yes, everyone was wondering what that was when we were playing it.
So the part of me, so bear in mind again, like you know one of the things like when you said to me like what's the game like, I said the one thing I would say, like my only advice is just don't try and rush the game. So bear in mind I did it in 2 days, so I did 10 hours each day, so I just played it non-stop. Right now, the thing about this game, the reason I say that people should play it is because I think the story is really good, combat is fantastic. So long as you play it in smaller bursts, because the game is quite repetitive. There aren't too many different enemy types, so you see a lot of the same enemies over and over again. So when I was at the position, from like a content point of view, when you're trying to finish a game because you need to make videos and stuff, like, so I'm at this point where I'm like, right, I feel like I'm at the end of the game. I felt like I was at the end of the game at chapter 10. There were 2 more chapters.
Oh, no.
Right? Then I got to chapter 12 and I was like, all right, whatever, it was chapter 11. But there's that part where like you're basically going through room after room after room after room, working towards getting to like the final boss, basically, right? And that part, I had it on my Elgato because I would record it in like different chunks and stuff. Literally, the chapter, whenever all the other chapters were pretty small, this was 2 hours of going through room after room. Every time you get to a new room, right? So if anyone that hasn't played it, you're basically working your way through, and you're like, oh, you've got to go up these ascending floors to get towards this this like mine thing you've got to get to. So it's like, all right, floor 1, and you kind of go through, walk into a room, you fight some enemies, and at this point in the game, there are enemies that early on in the game would be considered like mini bosses, right? So they take they're not the sort of things you kill in one hit. They'll take a little bit longer to fight, and they'll start piling like 3, 4, or 5 of these in a room. So you're like, okay, cool, it's a decent room. You do that. Go to the next room. No, 5 more mini bosses. I'm like, okay, cool. Next room, 5 more mini. I'm like, all right, this is floor 1. I'm like, okay, cool. Next floor, same principle. Go through again. And I'm like 7 floors deep. Every time I get to the end of the room, I'm like, please don't be another floor. And I go through and the cutscene's like, we must get to the end. I open the map and I'm like, oh my goodness, please, I just want to get to the end. And like literally every single, like I kid you not, every time I got to a new floor, I was just getting progressively more angry because it just didn't end. And I was like, I just want this experience to be over. And then you get to this point where like one of the bosses is so bull. This is something else as well about Scarlet Nexus, right?
The final boss was like 8 phases.
I mean, that was also mad. But the other thing about Scarlet Nexus, right? It's a game where it's so generous on save points for the most part. It's like, oh, you go before a boss fight, here's a save point. After a boss fight, here's a save point. They give you save points everywhere, except for when you want it. There's one part where like there was a boss near the end that had 3 different phases. You know, the clown boss, the elephant and thing like that. So like that one. But if you die to that one, you go back like 2 rooms. I'm like, where's my save point now? Why have you not given me a save point now?
You just don't die.
I mean,
just
that
one
would be
shot, man.
No, so that part I actually with the rooms, I really liked that part because the game is very story heavy, and there was very big portions of this game where I was like, I really want to go fight something, and I was watching cutscenes for like 2 hours. So I was like, I want to go fight a thing. So for me, like the building up to the final boss and then the 2 final bosses at the end was kind of like my big combat payoff after going through like all of the bonding missions and all of the all of the story stuff. So that was kind of like, yeah, I get to fight, and at this point you're using what 10 different abilities potentially, or mixture of abilities, because for anyone who hasn't played Scarlet Nexus, you get to use your friend's abilities. So you can have a fire person, an electric person, there's someone who makes you invisible, slows down time, is super tanky. Like there's so many different variations. And you get to borrow their power when you are fighting, but you also, if you bond with them and you get a better relationship with them, you can use their special ability in combat. So it ended up that I have like 10 special abilities that I can use, and I can borrow their powers. So I was like, this is awesome to have this big combat part of the game when I have all of these abilities at my disposal. So I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed the elephant clown sexy lady boss. Sexy leg lady boss. It was a fun boss.
It does kind of sound like your thing. It's not out of character.
It was kind of a surprise actually for the final 2 bosses, because before that the bosses weren't very difficult or very like, they didn't have a lot of multiple phase bosses, and then it's like, here's this boss with like 3 to 4 phases. And then there's this other boss where there's so much stuff happening. It's a really long and intense fight. But it was kind of nice to have that at the end. But the story is time and time travel and
I can't even explain the story. That's the thing. Like, even though I played it and I was like, I want to talk about it on spoiler discussion. That's all I can really talk about. Is basically like, everybody's after you. Everybody's going to try and kill you, but then they're also going to become your friend.
So humans had to leave the moon to go to Earth. So they were going from the moon to Earth. And then the people at the moon government had this thing called the extinction belt, which is essentially where they put monsters around the edge of the Earth or the edge of the moon. One or the other. The Earth or the moon. So
is it like a flat Earth or flat moon kind of thing?
No. So
Flat Earther made
because
this
they've got these, they call it monster particles. So if you pass through the particle, you turn into a monster. So that was their way of like locking people in the moon. So our whole thing was, we're trying to get rid of this extinction belt because we can't travel from the Earth and the moon because we turn into monsters, and that's bad. And then there's also particles dropping from that onto the surface, turning people into monsters. So obviously we want to get rid of that because it's bad, because people are turning into monsters. So the story is, we're trying to close this gate that's happened because there's a massive time gate that's opened because this dude's been traveling into the past and into the future over and over again, and he's fudged it all up. So we're trying to fix all of these wrongs that have happened because of time travel while also getting rid of the monster particles.
And you get the TVA over there.
Yeah, it
It
definitely
would
sounds
be
like
helpful. It would be helpful. It would definitely be a helpful situation. But yeah, I survived the first cut in. I just call him Karen because he's annoying. I I've finished the first fight with him with like a speck of health left.
Yeah.
And they brought him, but you know when they bring him back again, and then it's like the Avengers coming in, like, don't worry, I got your back. I was like, please don't make me fight. I have no health. I can't. If I get slapped once, I'm going all the way back to God knows where.
Exactly. Yeah.
But luckily I didn't get hit, so it's okay. But yeah, it's Scarlet Nexus it's a very interesting game, and that's why I say that I think it's worth people trying it out. I say if you're someone who doesn't like really a long story segments, or you don't like having a lot of story to take in, you might not like Scarlet Nexus. But if you don't mind that, the story is really good. The characters are really good. I think the writing is really good. The combat is really fun. And that end segment of like as things start falling into place and they're like, this is what's going on, and here's all these crazy battles. It's yeah, it's really, really cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
I do think it's definitely worth playing. I think it's going to be one of those games that will be like in a few years, kind of be one of those like cult games people kind of just talk about.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit odd, but yeah. So,
I think similar to 13 Sentinels, right? Where people were like, that game's really good. But a lot of people haven't heard of the game, haven't played the game. Scarlet Nexus might end up being one of those situations where it's like, hey, Scarlet Nexus, could literally be a 60-hour game because there's two sides. It took me a little over 30 hours to finish one portion of
That's so
the story.
intimidating, that 60 hours. Like, everything you say about this game, I'm kind of interested in. And then that 60 hours, like, oh, I don't.
Well, you can do just one character. I don't think you need to do two. It just gives you an overall better understanding of all the intricacies of the story. So you can just cut that in half. And people finished it in 20 hours, 25. I did 30 because I was trying to get all the cosmetics because I wanted like bunny ears on my characters.
Understandable.
Obviously. Yeah, but it's a cool game. It is cool. I liked the journey a lot. And the characters made me laugh a lot as well. There was a lot of moments in the story where it made me laugh and I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Scarlet Nexus. I cannot believe how many phases those two end bosses had. He wouldn't die. He would not die. He refused. He kept coming back.
Amazing. Imagine a Destiny raid boss with like 8 phases.
It'd be
Feel like it just keeps coming back. Another final stand. A final stand per section.
Oh.
That would be so stressful. Jesus. It's like, damage! Damage! Oh my God.
He's got another health bar. Is there anything else for this week? Or is that
For
it?
this week.
No, I think that's.
I don't think there's much. There was just a lot of people celebrating a year of Ghost of Tsushima, so there was a lot of
Tomorrow,
True.
Death's Door comes out though. For anyone who's looking forward to that.
That
oh
looks
yeah,
awesome.
we'll talk about that actually. I think I'm gonna play it. Maybe.
I might play it.
It looks super cool.
Yeah,
It's So it is a game. It's listed as an action adventure RPG 3D game. And so just reading the kind of title of it, it's reaping souls of the dead and punching a clock might get monotonous, but it's honest work for a crow. You play as a crow, which is cool, by the way.
With a little lightsaber on the back, please.
With a little lightsaber.
Yeah.
The job gets lively when your assigned soul is stolen, and you must track down a desperate thief to a realm untouched by death, where creatures grow far past their expiry. So you're a reaper, and you're like, come back here, I gotta take you to the death realm, Jesus. And they got stolen. So if you look at it, the visuals of it, I think, are really cool.
The visuals look incredible. Yeah, it's got that like nice sort of isometric look. It's not just for anyone that's wondering. It's not a roguelite. It is just like action adventure. It's more akin to like Metroidvania, Souls-like in that places to explore, like abilities to unlock, and then like new pathways and stuff. But yeah, basically it's like working through fighting bosses and stuff.
Do we know if it's going to be on Game Pass?
Let me check where it's coming.
It's also on Xbox as well. So
it is. So is it on Game Pass?
I don't know.
Don't know. Yeah, because they say Steam and Xbox.
Door Game Pass. So I'm googling it. Death's Door Game Pass.
Yeah, that game looks really cool.
It's only. It just says potentially it could.
Yeah, so no plans yet.
So no definitive answer. And with it coming out tomorrow, I don't know if we're gonna get it.
Probably not, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
this would be such a perfect Steam Deck title.
Oh, it's such. See, this is what I mean. There's so many of these games where I'm like, God damn it, this would be amazing on Steam.
Right?
But yeah, I want to check this one out. There's so many games I want to play. Ever since that damn Steam demo thing, my life has been changed.
Yeah.
I'm like, there is 1,000 games I want to play at any given time.
When is the Ghost expansion coming out again? That's like mid-August, right?
August 20th?
And 22nd? Kena is coming out, like, I think the 24th or something.
The 24th, which is the beginning of Destiny's new season.
My God. It's all these things I want to play, but I feel like they're coming out mostly in August.
A lot of things are happening in August. Yeah, it's going to... Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima, Kena... Destiny season. Well, luckily we're going to be Warlocks for a season, so we could just skip this one and just play all these other games.
Just play indie titles. Be like, I'm waiting for my Steam Deck.
There we go.
Like I'm waiting until the final month of this season, and then I'll play. All right.
Exactly. Oh man. Well, I think that is SideQuest episode number 102.
One more thing. One more thing. Guilty Gear Strive is getting a new character tomorrow. Or well, the new trailer for the new character is coming out tomorrow. So that should be interesting. And that's in celebration of selling over 500,000 copies, which is phenomenal.
Wow, that's really good.
For a game kind of this caliber. So if you haven't checked out Guilty Gear Strive yet, I've been playing that for, I don't know, came out a month ago or so. And it's really quite good and super fun and very easy to pick up.
Nice.
I just want to do dolphin combos.
Yes.
I love her.
May is amazing.
Every time I see her, I'm just like, oh man, I want to be a dolphin girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, Briar's like, yeah, I do.
She's really good. She's really fun. She's really charming. Every character, the characters in that game are, I mean, I haven't fallen in love with characters like this since like the original Street Fighter 2. Like they're that caliber.
Nice.
Yeah, they are phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really adds another layer to who you decide to be your main, because you really feel like, yeah, this is me. This is what I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really it's an outstanding game. I think it's really going to go far too. It's the first time one of these Guilty Gear games I feel like it's really hit mainstream awareness.
Yeah.
And I think they're handling it great. And it's got rollback net code, so it's like you can play it with your friends from all over the world. It's just been they knocked this one out of the park. I'm really looking forward to the announcement tomorrow of the new character.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well.
Woo! August. You just scared me. And I'm now nervous.
There you go.
We made it through September last year, so we can make it through
September didn't end up being as bad.
No, that's
it really wasn't, right?
This is like, I know I like Destiny. I know I like Ghost of Tsushima. I know that I'm gonna like it. So these are games that I know I'm gonna want to play.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad for my health.
All right. I think that's the show.
All right.
Thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it.
Complete.
Yeah.
Shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs and everyone hanging out. And thanks for listening wherever you listen on podcasts. We appreciate all the support. Eric's, where can people find you? What you doing this week?
You find me over on YouTube at Eric's Gaming, where this week I'm still playing Monster Hunter Stories. So, yeah.
The game is really long.
Mm.
Really long.
Nice. Watts, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. And I wanted to start Ender Lilies today, and I want to start Death's Door. Maybe we'll just do both at the same time. We'll just do both.
Load up 2 boxes.
Why not
2
both?
consoles.
Why not? If only I had my Steam Deck, I could be playing it on
Yeah.
playing one on my thing. I could hold it up to the camera every now and then and be like, "Look, guys, this is where I'm at."
Briar?
You follow me over at YouTube. I got a new project going on. I'm kind of refurbishing an old PS3 fight. Oops.
Ooh.
That goes in there. So that should be a fun project. It'll probably take me a few days to finish that project and make a video of it, but I think it'll be a pretty fun video when I'm done.
Awesome. And I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. I've got a video coming out in a couple days, maybe tomorrow, about the Backbone. That
That's what you said last week.
I said it was coming out like Tuesday.
Yeah, you said Tuesday. That's tomorrow. It better be out.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if I hit
Writing
the
a
deadline
letter.
tomorrow. You know, I might.
Nah.
I might be a day late or so, but that's coming out pretty soon.
Mm.
And yeah, that's what's going on. Thanks for watching. You guys are all amazing. And see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
That's fine.